don't know why I'm feeling somehow about it. And so the special seats bill, okay, beg your pardon, we have 20 female lawmakers and we have 4 in the Senate. So we have 20 in the National Assembly, and 6. So we have 6 in the House of Reps and 4 in the Senate. Out of 469 legislations, what? So that's what the women are asking for special seats. Now, this special seat is not that we're chasing the men away. No, we're asking for additional seats. We're saying, shifts, make us down, or let's sit down together so that the chair can be stronger, so that the table can be stronger. So we're not chasing men away. The seats, the current seats are still there. They're still legal, is untouched. We're just saying we want additional seats, right? So that women's voices can be heard, so that we can experience representation in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly. With that being said, I hope that you are also in your small sphere, you are talking about the special seats bill. The bill was supposed to be voted for tomorrow, the 9th, Tuesday the 9th, but it has now been postponed again. So, in fact, we were unhappy that it was postponed, but you know what is good, so that we can even do more work. And we're hoping that in the 10th Assembly, this bill can be passed. It was brought up in the 9th Assembly, but it wasn't passed in the 9th Assembly. So for legacy's sake, so that your names can be written in gold, if you have anybody, any man in Senate, in the National Assembly, please tell them that this special seats bill is gotta go. It's gotta go, because we know that when women are in power, things happen, right? Are there bad eggs? Yes, but there are bad eggs everywhere, you know. So this bill is being passed so that, please, we're begging you, we're upon our knees, pass this bill now. So that's what I was doing in Abuja, you know, for the special seats bill. With that preamble done, let's get into the headlines for today. It's quite a few. I mean, have you been seeing what's been happening? Do you see what happened in Benin Republic? Okay. Security crisis was taken with the Punch newspaper. Tinubu, Macron hold talks as US fact finders arrive. Next up, we have foiled coup. ECOWAS deploys troops to Benin. Plotters arrested. I think it that said it last week, or maybe it was Emmanuel that said it last week. That this one, that's one country has started the coup plot. It means like you now start seeing. I think don't be surprised if you now see other countries, other military personnel in other countries trying to do that as well, and we're seeing it. And thankfully, the president to send the armed forces there, and they were able to sort it out. So we're thankful for that, because once it's successful in one place and it goes to another, before you know it, we're back to the military regime, and that's not something that anybody is looking forward to. In the Guardian newspaper, we have, which is good news, a little bit of good news, bittersweet, but still a little bit of good news. Federal government secures release of 100 abducted Niger pupils, as 153 pupils, 12 teachers still remain in captivity. We're hoping that the remaining pupils and these teachers will spend Christmas with their families. Hey, God, I beg. Shipping lines decry $4.6 million stowaway repatriation fine yearly in Nigeria. And last of all, we have 7.6 million tramadol pills. Look, we know that we have a case of drug abuse in Nigeria, and it's getting out of hand. So we are happy that it was seized in Delta, Imo, and Adamawa states. In the This Day newspaper, presidency, how Tinubu ordered Nigeria's military to foil crisis. You know, I thought that we're not going to see any crisis again, but look at that. Weekdays camp moves to reorganize state chapters, conduct fresh congresses and convention. Next up, in the Bangor newspaper, Imo government seals hotel mortuary over alleged kidnapping, organ harvest. Nigerian military foiled coup in Benin Republic, says Tinubu. Per insecurity, Obasanjo asks the Nigerian government to seek global intervention. I remember we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, or was it 3 weeks ago? And one of the things that our analyst, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Sumbo, had said, like, you don't have to say this thing out in the open. You're an elder statesman. It's just better that you should have gone to speak, you know, with the president, you have his number, you have a way to get him. Like it's just, sometimes alarming or concerning rather when we see elder statesmen say things in public when you can speak to the president of the country directly, especially when you've also been a former president. Finally, in the Premium Times newspaper, US delegation arrives Nigeria, meets Ribado on strategic security partnership. Moving on to the Nation newspaper, how Nigeria helped foil military coup in Benin Republic. Next up, we've got no official confirmation on reported release of 100 abducted students. Niger government and CAN says, okay. In the cable newspaper, 100 Catholic school children abducted in Niger State regain their freedom. Currently in Niger State, the schools have been shut down in Niger State. So our eyes are peeled to basically see what is going to be unfolding from Niger State. Next up in the cable newspaper, we have Benin Republic. How Tinubu sent fighter jets to save Benin's democracy, says the presidency. Finally, in the Tribune newspaper, we have federal government secures release of 100 from abducted Niger pupils. Finally, in the National Dailies this morning, pen pushing newspaper, failed coup, Benin Republic government arrests a dozen soldiers. And then we have American delegation arrives Nigeria, meets Ribado on strategic security partnership. There you have it. Those are the headlines for this morning. Too much is going on. 10 is happening, like they say in the streets. 10 is actually happening. But right about now, we are going to go into the headlines that caught our eye this morning because, yes, even though things are happening, well, Olonade, good morning.
And trust you are doing okay this beautiful Monday morning.
I'm good. I'm fine. How are you? Happy Monday to you.
I can feel you are okay, you're good. From the energy this morning.
I want to return to my original state. I don't know what people are doing in this Lagos. Please, I'm going back to my original states.
You're going back to Ijebu?
No. Let's just keep it moving. I'm just going to ignore you right now because what? No, my original states where I'm just coming from. The moment I entered Lagos, I was already feeling so much stress. I was like, what's going on? Like, why is Lagos?
Yeah, that's why I'm offering you the option of going back to your home state. And yes, who knows? Maybe when the constitutional amendment is done, you might have a state of your own. And the earlier you go back, the better.
I've only been to Ijebu twice in my life, or maybe 3 times in my life.
Don't expose yourself.
That's okay. I'm okay. See this conversation. You know how they always say, "Oh, when you say state of origin," I think, and I say this very carefully. I think that if you've been born somewhere, right, and you've lived your life in that whole place, that's the place you should just call it state of origin because that's where you were born. So if you were born and bred in Lagos, why can't I
want to abandon your father's house right there?
No, I'm not abandoning.
You want to leave your father's house.
I'm not abandoning my father's house.
You want to leave everything. You don't want to tell your children, "Oh, for me, go home."
You know what? Let's get into it this morning. I'm going to ignore you. You're not for me. You're not for me this morning. This one is an interesting. I thought this was interesting to talk about because when I was coming back from my original state on Friday, a lot of things were happening at the airport, and I set up administration when the fuel subsidy was gone. Airfares were 50K. But do you know how much air flights are now? Emmanuel, take a guess.
Well, Lagos to Abuja is averaging between 150 to 250. That's how you get Lagos to Abuja. Then it depends on where you are going to. If you are going towards Asaba, I think Asaba should average about for one-way ticket should average about 400 or 500,000 naira.
600, 700,000.
Yeah, and then for Enugu also goes around that 400, 500,000. So it depends. Overland to Ilorin, that's Tunde Diagman Airport, is also costly. And this is due to a whole lot of factors. I think what we should just say now is that the sky has become a luxury for us. And when the sky becomes luxury, a whole lot of things actually happen. But it's not the fault of the airlines because majorly people tend to put the fault at the footstep of the airline. But it's actually more than that. What runs aviation is not just the airline. It is a group of people that the airline is also part of that runs aviation. And if you think that the 150, 200 you are paying for your fare to Abuja, that the money goes to the airline directly, no. At the end of the day, what might end up with the airline might just be like 30 or 40% of that fare, because they have to pay a whole lot per head, per passenger boarding. So when you look at it, we have a whole lot of things that has made us that has made our sky to become luxury. And when the sky becomes luxury, it's only people that lives in affluence that can actually afford it. And when you look at the state of our roads now, there ought to be hike in passengers using our airport. But even if you look at the statistics, there is a drop compared to last year in the number of passengers using airports. People think that a lot of people are using the airports right now to commute. But when you look at the data out there, there is still a slight drop from last year. That shows that a lot of people cannot afford this. And when you look at the fare, it takes an average Nigeria 40 point something days to ensure that he can afford a flight ticket when you look at the minimum wage that is being paid. So you work for 40 plus day to be able to fly to Abuja. So you have to work for 40 plus day to be able to fly back. I think at this point, that's why I said when the sky becomes luxury, it's only the affluent that can actually make good use of it.
Mhm.
And it is not the fault of the airlines, because people tend to put and say the airlines are wicked, they are jacking the price up. Let's look at some of the reason, the true cost of flying in Nigeria, some of the
Mhm.
reason behind this. You have to look at the Jet A1 fuel prices. Jet A1 is what the aviation fuel that we all know. You need to look at the prices. You need to look at what it costs to get Jet A1, and how many people, people actually use this, and how many suppliers. There's a monopoly in the Jet A1 industry, which I'm not going to talk about. There's a monopoly there, which I'm not going to talk about. And you should also look at the fact that Dangote himself has been trying to break into that field. He has not been able to. So you look at the price of Jet A1, which what is it called? Fuel accounts to about 40 to 50% of total operating cost for Nigeria Airlines. So you look at the price. So what you're paying on your ticket, what they are getting, that's 40 to 50% of their operational cost. And then you look at the currency depreciation and dollar dominated cost economy that we have. Most of the key expenditures of this airline, the spare parts, the aircraft maintenance, the lease agreement payment, everything comes in dollar. And when your own currency is weakened, it's very hard for you to compete that. Though on the global level, they will say that air prices, air tickets has dropped. They are trying to make aviation available, aviation affordable for average people, for all class of people globally. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case, and that's I'm trying to mention these reasons to show us that it is most times it's not the fault of the airlines, but it is a whole lot. And don't forget that there is also high taxes, fees, and regulation charges. When you look at this fee we are talking about, uh, there is being paid. And one thing that people should know is when you have fewer passengers, airline will spread the cost on the number of passengers they are having.
Okay.
So, for example, if an airline that was doing, let's say, 50,000 passengers monthly, and the ticket was 100,000, when it drops to 25,000 passenger, the rest are sure that your ticket will go to about 180 or 200, because the cost, everything being paid, has to be spread. People have to be responsible for it, and it's the few passengers that are making use of the airline that would be responsible for it. So what we're seeing in the aviation industry is the fact that a whole lot of things is going on,
Right.
but the sky has become luxury based on the fact that an average Nigerian cannot afford to use the sky. And you look at the state of our road, insecurity,
I was
you
gonna
look
go
at
there.
a whole lot.
Mhm.
People are afraid to travel. People are really, really afraid. People are scared to travel because I have a friend that wanted to travel to Asaba, and as at November, she was looking at flight tickets. And when she saw the price, she was telling me one way ticket goes for this price, and I was just laughing. I said, domestic airlines operating. And when you look at it, more than what we've had in years, and you feel like with the incoming of more domestic airline, the competition should be higher. Yeah, the competition is there, but you look at the ticket, everything falls within range. Everything falls within range. And you also have to look at the turnaround time for aircraft, for airlines. The turnaround time is the time by which an aircraft lands and the cleaning, the refueling is being able to be carried out and it turns
Okay.
around. I remember a trip of mine, I was to use Airpeace, and then there was a 25-minute delay announced. And the aircraft that would take me back to Lagos just landed from Anambra. And as the passengers were coming down, they were refueling, they were cleaning, and then we had to board. And the aircraft also landing in Lagos had to take passengers. So sometimes you see the delay in this airline, it is due to different factors, because the profit for airlines is the amount of turnaround time that they can generate. And if the
Mhm.
turnaround time is fast, an aircraft can move around as fast as possible. So when you look at the sky becoming luxury, the fault doesn't solely lies at the doorstep of airlines, because most Nigerians would think that the fault lies at the deck. See, if the economy is good, if a whole lot of things are working well, if your currency is strong, then you see a drop in tickets. And the fact that at this point, you mentioned that why is it that December period we see
It
hike in
rise,
prices.
yeah.
It's not that we see hike in prices. I mentioned the turnaround time. Turnaround time costs money, because imagine an aircraft that is to pick passenger in Lagos leaving Abuja. The aircraft must ensure that the departure time for 7 a.m. in Abuja is met, so that the arrival time in Lagos is stick to, and then the departure time in Lagos is stick to. If there's a slight delay in Abuja, passengers in Lagos will be left stranded. And the aircraft is bid to
Mm.
pick passengers in Kano by 2 p.m. 2 p.m. in Kano becomes 4 p.m. So when there's a slight delay, it affects the whole schedule.
The whole, yeah.
That's why when people say that, oh, we're left at the airport from 4 to 7, it's because your flight has been held up somewhere, maybe by an unwilling passenger who delayed the normal
Yeah.
takeoff time, departure
And we've been
time.
seeing that happen.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so when you see an unruly passenger who delay the takeoff time, it affects the whole schedule. You think that there is an aircraft waiting for you in Lagos that will carry you to Abuja. No, the aircraft that will carry you is currently in Anambra State, trying to pick passenger, bring them to Lagos, and then move to Anambra. So what we see most times is we feel like, oh, these airlines, they have 50 aircraft. No, some of them just operate 2, 3.
Mm.
And then the turnaround time has to be faster. The turnaround time is just where the profit is. How you are able to stick to that time. That's are doing that, reading all the hadith, all the psalm that they can read, and ensure that God keeps them to wherever they are going to.
Okay.
So there's going to be a surge at this period. So when people look at it and people complain, I laugh, because you have to understand the inner workings of the aviation industry and how this
Fair.
thing works. So an airline that's the total operating cost for most airlines is about 40 to 50%. That's aviation fuel takes that from them, and then they have to spread other charges, other costs.
Mm.
It's going to be a whole lot. So it's a whole lot for airlines in Nigeria, and they contribute, I think, about 0.7% of our GDP. That's about 2 point something billion dollars in a year. Employ
Mm.
averagely 30 something thousand Nigerians. So you look at it, it's an industry that we still want to thrive. It's an industry that we still want to meet global standard, which we're
Yeah.
trying to ensure that it does. But the truth is, until your economy reflects what you see in your society. So until the economy, if Naira keeps strengthening against the dollar, then you also feel the impact in what you do. Your purchasing power becomes much stronger. So this is what is happening. It's not that the airline are just waking up to increase the fare. Two
Mm.
years
I get
ago,
you.
aviation fare was not like this. 2 years ago, charges were not like this. Go and look at the charges that is being put on a passenger using. Don't forget insurance. They say insurance in Nigeria, for Nigeria aviation, is one of the highest in the whole world. I don't know, but insurance is paramount. Everything has to be insured. So you
Yeah.
look at the charges and then you look at it, and at this point, you just feel like, oh,
All
it
right.
is not the airline. It is a lot of factors that contribute to this, to making our sky the luxury.
The luxury. I got you. I got you. I got you. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Time right now is 4 minutes to 8. You're still tuned into Women Radio 91.7 FM. This is the newspaper review segment of the Full Breakfast Show. My name is Fumi Bangbala. Let's take some messages this morning. Prince from Ogba, Prince, you know, called this morning, says, what does it take to be sincere and honest in the power of politics? Your country is overwhelmed with security manipulations and collusion in terrorism across all boards, yet has the resources to swiftly clear in to help Benin Republic. What a shame. We are going to get into that this morning. Mayor from Ikotuegbe says, beautiful morning to you all in the studio. Concerning the insecurities in Nigeria, your rulers know what to do but refuse to do it because they are involved in the system directly or indirectly. When the Canadian court openly says that APC and PDP are terrorist organizations, but many of us do not understand the gravity of that statement. Many of your so-called politicians have thugs known as Agberos by the side because of election manipulation. Can we see how Agberos have taken over Lagos and your government chooses to look otherwise because they are useful during elections? My fellow Nigerians, your government is the problem of Nigeria and not the common man on the street. I beg to disagree, because I typically say that the people that are in government are a reflection of us, right? So you can't say that the government is a problem, because if they put you, mayor, in government right now, I put it to you that I've said it. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So you can't say we are different because we are a reflection of our government. If our government is not doing well, it means that you yourself in small corner. Think about yourself in your small corner. What are you doing in your small corner, right? Do you throw trash on the street? Do you obey traffic laws? All those kinds of things. So I beg to disagree there. Even the coup happening in Africa is caused by the political class, oh God arise, and trouble those that trouble Nigerians. Next up, we have Roja from Ilaro. Good day. Hello, Roja from Ilaro. Good day. Can you explain why the government and security agencies were that swift to helping my people, and they couldn't help themselves in a more detailed situation? Also, I'm guessing that you are from Benin Republic, because you said helping my people, and they couldn't help themselves in a more detailed situation of banditry, kidnapping, terrorism in Nigeria. We do not need that help. Rescue all your kidnapped victims and stop paying ransom to criminals. Then you can help others. Thank you so much, Roger. Lekon says, good morning, crew. Nigeria, what the price we have paid for incompetence, lack of capacity, and low-grade mind people in power. How